Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to redo a couple of my frog tanks. I just want to spruce them up a little bit, just not liking the way that they've been sitting, and I've also got some new gear to put inside of them that I reckon will make them pretty cool. So stick around and I hope you enjoy the video. For now though, I'm just off to the local nursery shop just to try to get some supplies for these guys. Probably going to pick up a couple of plants. Also want to pick up some scoria if I can find it, so I can just do a couple of drainage layers on these tanks. But yeah, anyway, we'll check back in very shortly and yeah, we'll get cracking. Alright, so my first nursery stop didn't have scoria in stock. I really want to get some scoria and try this out. I'll explain why later in the video. So I'm on my second stop. And if not, I've got a third place I could try in mind. Okay, so the third stop for the scoria was the one to go for. Managed to get the last couple of bags that were there. So basically, scoria is like a very porous volcanic rock. So it's a little bit lighter than things like a decorative gravel or an aggregate or something like that. You do have to rinse it quite a bit, but it's perfect for the drainage layer in most of your terrariums and things. And it's also a space that beneficial bacteria can actually build up and colonize in semi-aquatic enclosures as well. So I'm going to cut open one of these bags and start rinsing it because it is very dusty. There's going to be a lot of red pigment and stuff that comes out of it. And we'll just run that into the backyard and water some grass.
I swear to God it all begins tomorrow, just in a little moment where I'm hiding from the room.
So believe it or not, but these two terrariums, both my red-eye tree frogs and my green stream frogs, these are the two terrariums that I actually want to redo. Couple of reasons. One, I wanted to redo the green stream frog tank so I can actually try to include like a running drip wall of some variety, just to kind of hopefully stimulate a little bit more calling and things out of the male. And two, the red-eye tree frogs up here, because they're only juveniles and they're only pretty small, I actually want to just maybe not have such an aquatic environment. Like, as much as they're going to love it, I think I'm just going to kind of do something similar to the prawns in the sense that I've got a water bowl there that's, you know, able to be easily cleaned all the time. But a bit more land area so they can actually hunt around a little bit easier, just because I want to get a bit more growth onto these guys. So yeah, going to use the scoria in the bottom of this terrarium as a drainage layer, and in this tank we've got a whole bunch of sandstone and other things, so I'm going to just try to build up a bit of a land area towards the back, and yeah, still have a good water portion down the front. Something else that we've got to go into these terrariums is actually a couple of big, well not big, but a couple of universal rock backgrounds as well. So they're just a lot nicer than these Reptile 1 backgrounds. Like, whilst these Reptile 1 backgrounds are nice and cheap and they do the job, these ones are going to have a few more ledges and things like that, just so that they can actually climb around on. Let's get into it. I need to get these emptied out, I need to catch some frogs and some fish, and we'll get started. And soon I will be going back way up that wicked road. And I say, So I'm pretty lucky that I had one of these other Exo Terras kicking around for the time being. The one that the frogs were in, this is the green stream tank that I'm doing now. I forgot that I'd completely siliconed the background into it, so there was almost no hope of getting it out. So I'll have to reassess the red-eye tree frog tank to see if I can actually get the background out of that one either. If not the worst case scenario, just means I've got an extra one of these backgrounds hanging around. So this is one of the Universal Rock Exo Terra backgrounds. And my plan is to actually have the small water pump down one of the sides here, same as the filter that was in there, and try to pump some water up, probably through into what maybe about this hole here or thereabouts, just so I can actually create like a bit of a trickle water effect down to the bottom of the tank. So we'll see how high the actual pump will pump and work from there. And yeah, then we'll go again and put this background in place. I've already test fitted these backgrounds, and geez, they're fantastic. They actually fit perfectly. I've never had a background, even the actual Exo Terra backgrounds that come with these tanks, I find quite often are a little bit loose, but this is a tight, perfect, seamless fit, to the point where I'm not even going to bother siliconing it in, because it actually it wedges in nice and tight and really, really well. So what I've essentially done now is just connected the length of clear hosing to that little water filter. I'm going to run up the back of the background itself, hopefully at a good height. I'm just trying to create a bit of a drip break like that. So I've just got to figure out where I want to put my hole in the background, let it run out of, making sure that it's also going to be okay to run out of that said hole. Alright, so I think I found my spot. I'm probably going to do it about there in the background. So I'm going to grab a pair of tweezers or something. And essentially just work a little hole until I've got something big enough that I can get that little hose through. Then we're going to try and get this background into place. Okay, so what I've done here is I've got my little hole for where I want the tube to come out of. And I've also just taken a little nick out of the bottom of the foam background as well, just so I can actually run the hose from the pump underneath there. I'll try our best to get this in first shot. Okay, so it took a little bit of fiddling around. We got the pump in there. Decided to go and do it on this side instead, which that's alright. Got the little outlet there. I think I'm going to actually disperse that just by putting a bit of Java moss or something like that glued to the side there. Same again down there, then that way that'll kind of like break up the actual flow of the drip. But we're going to have some little land area there. I'm probably just going to build it up with some sponge and some plants, so it'll just go down through and water that, and then we'll have the water area down the front here. That's a good little test fit. We'll go and get it back in the rack now and get it ready for fitting out. So I've got both the terrariums back in the rack as to where they're going to go. Didn't film putting the background in there because I simply just put the background in there. It's really nothing exciting. But this is the green stream frog tank here. You see the little water outlet. Next thing I'm going to do before I start doing any of the planning, any of the substrate or anything, is I'm actually going to just tack using some super glue gel. I'm going to tack some Java moss in around there and where the water will kind of flow down, because essentially that's just going to create like a little wall of Java moss that will grow down there once it's all staying hydrated. And to do so, I'm just using a little bit of coral glue. This is Ecotech coral glue. Essentially it's just a cyanoacrylate, I believe it is, super glue gel. So yeah, the reason I'm doing it now is just because once the frogs go in, I wanted to make sure it's really well and truly set. So yeah, I'm going to get it, glue a few of these little bits of Java moss in place. So I'm only using little bits of this glue because I just want it to be able to just tack the Java moss into place and then go off really nice and quickly. Can be a little bit messy using this stuff. One thing you may have noticed is that the power cord for the filter is actually still visible inside the tank. The reason for that is if I need to service the filter at all, it's just going to be way easier than having it, hidden behind the background, which would look fantastic, but at the end of the day, I need these to be practical as well as good looking. So there we go, that'll do for now. I'll wait until I turn the pump back on to kind of just see how the water flows around as to whether I'm actually going to put any more in there. So we'll get started on putting some substrate back in and kind of working out how everything's going to sit. As you would have seen in the time lapse, I kind of bulked out the bottom of the tank in the land section there with some very kind of thick gauze aquarium sponge. Reason I did that is because then it can actually physically draw water through the sponge without it getting clogged into the filter system, the little pump that's there. But yeah, apart from that, I kind of just did a very minimal little land area up the top, very similar to like what I did last time. I used a little bit of drainage cloth to just kind of create a little bit of a barrier between it, the Yuki mulch and the water as well. And as you can see, we've got the little drip system, just dripping a bit of water down through there. Over time, as that Java moss kind of grows in as well, it'll probably diffuse it a little bit more, so it won't be such a steady stream in one section. And down underneath that side, there's a whole bunch of Java moss and mosses and stuff like that, so there's no actual Yuki mulch there, so again, it can just drain straight through that into the little filter. A couple of simple branches in there, bits of gum that were in these enclosures prior. I have to turn that around. But yeah, otherwise, pretty happy with how that's all set up now. We'll see how those plants grow in. But now we're going to set up the other one. We'll get this one started here. We'll kind of just mention how I plan to do it first, just prior to getting into it, just so then once you're kind of watching the time lapse, you'll kind of understand what I'm doing. So again, I'm going to use scoria in the bottom of this as my drainage layer. Then I'm going to use my aggregate cloth over there as a bit of a barrier. From there, I'm going to do a mix of Yuki mulch and activated charcoal, gardener's charcoal. And start planting some plants, get some wood in there, and see how we can make this one look. So this little terrarium is looking very tropical. We've got some baby tears in the ground cover. Got some Ficus pumila up the back there. Got a type of ivy in here as well. We've got this, I think it's like a red bristle philodendron. Pile of palm as per standard. And I forget what this one's called, but it was one of the ones that was in the Boyd's Forest Dragon enclosure, not doing too crash hot, so decided to move it over here and see if we can give it some more life. But yeah, these little enclosures are looking fantastic now. Last thing to do is actually add in some inhabitants. And these will be done for the day. we've already got 2 of these guys out. Just waiting on lucky last. Come on, mate. Make a hop of it. A little bit of encouragement and off he goes. So there we go. The red eyes are back in their enclosure. Hopefully they'll learn how to live on land a little bit better. Oh, he's just taking a leak. That background just looks fantastic though. Very happy with that. You guys are stoked to be back in their enclosure, I bet. I'm sure they're going to love this little enclosure and the new way it's configured. The little water drip wall is quite cool actually, I'm really digging that. You can see these guys are a little bit stressed out at the moment, hence the kind of darker coloration. But they'll come alright. Well, I hope you guys got a kick out of this this video today doing these bioactive frog tanks. I'm sure they're really going to enjoy it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing some of those plants grow in, especially in the red-eyed tree frog enclosure. I really want that ficus pumila to really just take over the back wall and just turn it lush and green. But if you did like the video, make sure to subscribe, make sure to give me a like, make sure to comment down below, give me some ideas about other stuff you want to see in the future. Always willing to give anything a crack, you know, as long as it's within my realm of capabilities. But yeah, make sure to follow us along for some more videos and some more content. Cheers guys.